first time I ever did a tattoo, I don't think I stopped shaking. It's incredibly nerve-wracking. What ends up calming you down is, people gain confidence in you, gaining confidence in yourself. But before you tattoo anybody, you gotta practice on a lot of stuff. What inspired me to become a tattoo artist was, I think more so the freedom of the art instead of having a lot of restrictions. It does in its own sense, but it's not as typical for art. I would say that businesses and society can be a little bit more judgmental of people with certain areas tattooed, but as a whole, in the medical field, film, almost every field that I've seen has become more and more accepting of tattoos. People just don't like seeing hands and faces and necks as much, but even that is becoming much more accepted. The inspiration behind my tattoos would more so be the classical, almost the traditional style tattoos like the Sailor Jerry, Ed Hardy, Bowery Stan. This generation kind of paved the way for good tattooing. So the entire process is a pretty in-depth one. Usually it's not something that is done in a single day. I would say when you come in, you kind of talk out the idea with them, making sure it's going to be a tattoo that's going to last longer than, maybe a couple years. Once we kind of finalize the design, get that all set up, we'll come in, prep, and set up the whole tattoo area, cover up everything with barriers, prep the skin, place a stencil, and then we proceed to start the tattooing, which I always will line first and then proceed on to shading. I actually turn down tattoos quite often just because they won't be a tattoo that will last. So say people are getting tattoos that the lettering is too small, it'll turn into just something unlegible. I've turned down swastikas, stuff like that. I have a firm belief that I won't tattoo them. I see tattooing as more of an expressive art than getting meaningful stuff constantly. I think being a tattoo artist inspires people to be themselves. So instead of inspiring them to do artwork, it inspires them to kind of collect and be themselves. If it makes them do their own art, awesome, but it's more about being themselves. The biggest advice that I could have for anybody that wants to get into the tattoo industry is find somebody that you would want to apprentice under. Apprenticeships are the only way that you're going to be taken with any respect or seriously. The way to kind of get an apprenticeship, you would, start hanging out at a tattoo shop, getting tattooed by them quite a bit, doing watercolor paintings, drawing in a sort of tattoo style, asking questions, usually will lead to some sort of apprenticeship offer if you bother them enough.